The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, said it received over 2 million complaints in a year. The executive secretary of the commission, Dr. Anthony Ojukwu SAN, said this at a national legislative forum on human rights. The forum was organized by the commission with support from Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption, ROLAC, as part of activities marking International Human Rights Week. Ojukwu said in his welcome speech that the commission was established by the National Human Rights Act of 1993 to protect all human rights in Nigeria. Our mandate is to promote, protect, and enforce human rights, and we have been working tirelessly to achieve this as our goal, which is partly why we are here today.
We receive over 2 million complaints a year, and that is really mind-boggling. And it is important to mention that the complaint profile of the Commission has since crossed the 2 million mark. In the discharge of the mandate of the Commission, we are obligated by law to explore partnership and deepen human rights culture in this country. And to this end, we have worked closely with various stakeholders, including the government, civil society, and international organizations, and with our various committees in the National Assembly and State Assemblies to promote human rights and rule of law and mainstream human rights into legislations across the country. As part of our mandate, the Commission is tasked to review policies, draft bills, and laws to ensure that they align with human rights principles. This legislative forum is therefore a strategic initiative that enables us to fulfill this mandate. And by engaging with the lawmakers and stakeholders, we aim to integrate human rights norms into the legislative processes, ultimately promoting a culture of respect for human rights in Nigeria. Today, we gather to discuss critical human rights issues affecting our nation, including drug harm reduction programs, the Safe Schools Initiative, and protecting civic and digital spaces through legislative action.
Similarly, Senator Adeniyi, Chairman, Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters, said democracy cannot be achieved without human rights, and that the suggestions taken here should be forwarded to the House.
I would also plead that we, in our deliberations, we think of Nigeria and not for our individual interests or groups. Because when it comes to the Constitution, it is something that all of us would have to abide by. It's not about me and Adegomri coming from Akure, or Dr. Ojukwu coming from the southeast, or somebody coming from the north or the center. We all have to practice the provisions of that Constitution. So what should drive us is the betterment of Nigeria, the protection of the rights of citizens, particularly in democracy. Because one of the tenets of democracy is that everybody has a say. And that is why they say one of the hallmarks of democracy is the majority will have their way, but the minority must always have their say. Now, when the minority don't have their say, then it's not a democracy. But more importantly is that we all must understand what our rights are. And not only our rights, our obligations to Nigeria. Because embedded in the issue of human rights is also the respect for your fellow man. So you cannot say, oh, because I like to do this thing, then the law should protect me when it harms the next man. So in these deliberations, I would enjoin us to bear this in mind and to not make this just a talk show.
Speaking also, Mudashiru Luckman, Deputy Chair, who represented Dr. Abiola, Chairman, House Committee on Human Rights, lamented lack of funding to the Commission. He promised to push this funding issue for a better result.
On my own, as the leader of the team that went on oversight to National Human Rights Commission about a week ago, and one of those things we noticed when we get there, which we see that is one of the most challenging things that Human Rights Commission has, is the lack of fund. Because in the situation where a commission was budgeted for 55 billion naira for the whole year appropriation, and at the end of the day, they have about 2 million cases. Even if I told you allot just 10,000 naira, allocate 10,000 naira per case, how much is it going to be? that is about 20 million naira, multiplied by 2 million cases. So we have been working, and we have relayed your message to Mr. Speaker, and I want to say it here boldly that 2025 budget will not be like